In the early 1700s, the roads of England were haunted by a phantom, a daring highwayman, a horse thief, a ghost in the night known only as Dick Turpin. His name was whispered in taverns and terrified travelers across the country. But by the late 1730s, the law was closing in. Turpin, with a bounty on his head, vanished. He fled north, seeking anonymity, and found it in the quiet villages of East Yorkshire. Here he wasn't Dick Turpin, the notorious criminal. He was John Palmer, a charming and respectable horse trader from Lincolnshire. He lived well, dressed smartly, and was a popular figure in the local pubs and at the races. He spent his days hunting with the local gentry, his nights carousing, and no one suspected that this charismatic stranger was England's most wanted man. For 2 years, John Palmer lived a lie, funded by rustling horses and selling them across the Humber estuary. His past was buried, or so he thought. But a man like Turpin couldn't escape his own nature for long. His arrogance would be his downfall. One evening outside a tavern in Bruff, Palmer got into a petty argument. In a fit of rage, he threatened to shoot a man's cockerel. The man scoffed, "I'll believe it when I see it." So Palmer, true to his impulsive character, went home, grabbed his fowling piece, and shot the bird dead in the street. This seemingly trivial act of cruelty was the beginning of the end. The owner of the dead cockerel was furious. Such a public disturbance couldn't be ignored. The local magistrates, already wary of Palmer's mysterious wealth and flashy lifestyle, had him arrested for disturbing the peace and threatening behavior. Unable to find anyone to vouch for his good character or pay his surety, he was sent to the House of Correction at Beverley. The authorities began to dig into the background of this mysterious John Palmer. They suspected him of being a horse thief, but they had no idea who they were truly dealing with. Confined to his cell, Palmer's situation grew desperate. He decided to write a letter to his brother-in-law Pompey Rivenall back in Hempstead, Essex, begging for help. He wrote, "I am in a sad pickle here," and asked for a character reference. The letter was sent, but fate had another twist in store. Rivenall refused to pay the 6pence postage due on the letter. By pure, incredible chance, the letter was returned to the post office in Saffron Walden. Now, this is where the story takes a truly cinematic turn. The local postmaster was a man named James Smith. Years earlier, Smith had been the schoolmaster who had taught a young Dick Turpin how to write. As he looked at the returned letter from the mysterious John Palmer in a Yorkshire jail, he recognized the handwriting immediately. It was the unmistakable script of his former pupil. Smith wasted no time. He rode north to York, where Palmer had since been transferred to the formidable York Castle prison, and identified him. The game was up. John Palmer was unmasked as the infamous Dick Turpin. News spread like wildfire. The celebrity criminal was finally caught. His trial at the York Assizes was a sensation. Turpin was charged with horse theft, a capital offense, for stealing a mare and a foal. The evidence was overwhelming. Despite a confident and articulate defense, he was found guilty and sentenced to hang. On April 7, 1739, Dick Turpin's final day arrived. He wasn't dragged to the gallows. He hired mourners, bought a new suit of clothes, and travelled in a cart, bowing to the crowds that lined the streets of York. He played the part of the gentleman rogue right to the very end. On the scaffold at Knavesmire, he chatted with the hangman for half an hour before bravely launching himself into eternity. The legend of Dick Turpin was cemented not by a life of crime, but by the extraordinary manner of his capture and the theatrical nature of his death. A simple, angry act over a chicken brought down the most famous highwayman in English history. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy these low-light stories, you can follow the channel and return whenever you're ready for another quiet moment from the past. See you next time.